some areas, we understand this rather clearly. When it comes to religious beliefs, we know that people have different views, and that was one of the things well known early on, that people can have no faith or a variation of a different faith and generally be left alone. In recent years, I think there's been an increase in bigotry, and especially since 9/11, there's been more, and we don't respect it as well. But basically, we understand this, that we allow people to make some pretty important choices. Some people believe, we're dealing with our eternity when we allow people to make their own decisions. But what about intellectual freedoms? At the universities, we're allowed to study almost any subject. We still don't, fire people because they teach socialism. And yet, when it comes to personal liberties, it's always assumed that people aren't smart enough to do it, and they're going to make mistakes. Certainly going to make mistakes. But guess who it hurts if they make a mistake? It hurts that individual and doesn't hurt you. But if the government comes in and decides, well, we have to tell you what to do, they come up with these ideas. Well, the government is very important, so the best thing we can do to make sure people never harm themselves is we want to make sure you don't drink raw milk. Are very dangerous, but the responsibility falls on us as individuals and our families. But it gets so carried away. They decide that people shouldn't smoke marijuana. This is considered very bad. So some states decide that there's a medical benefit from marijuana, and they pass laws. But shouldn't that be enough? If you're going to have regulation at the state level, alcohol, from as far as I'm concerned, is an even more dangerous drug, and it's available. And
it is, yes, sir.
It's regulated at the state level. But they have come to this conclusion in the various states and say that some people get medicinal benefits from it. But what happens? The federal government comes in and says it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's the federal government that prevails over everything, which is not true if you understand the Constitution. So the government comes down heavy-handed, and people who have literally just used drugs, not committed a violent act, can be put in prison for life.
BS.
And they can be sick. And at the same time, we expect that if we continue to do what we're doing, everything is going to be okay. But we have to protect liberty. We have to understand that our own personal decisions have consequences. But you also have to understand that if you mess up in life, you just can't go to your neighbor through the government and say, you've got to take care of me because I